Can Google really read content and decide, oh yeah, this one's a better article? I'm seeing websites in my niche that have a lot of grammatical mistakes.
Mm-hmm. 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 And so, in short, yes, they can decide which one they think is better, as far as, what users want to see when they go to that SERP. Um, so basically, again, we're talking about Google not as a group of individuals, but as a robot that is crawling and categorizing information. And in doing that across the billions of pages that it's gone over, it's come up with an assortment of grammatical mistakes or things that like users might, input that are errors, etc. And while that would mean it's a cut below an article that's perfectly written from a human perspective, that's not necessarily what's going to happen with the crawler, which is a robot. And so, again, what we mentioned earlier, as far as using something like Surfer SEO, Surfer, what it does is it crawls the first 10 or however many articles that resonate in a SERP, and it creates a data set compiled by everything that it reads in that SERP, right? And so it's going to have information on percentages of certain words that it likes to see there. Structure kind of might play a little bit into it, but I think it's mainly finding all the correct words and phrases that it would compile into the perfect article, right? And so this will allow for some room of error when it comes to grammatical mistakes, etc. But hypothetical, if somebody used Surfer, has a few issues, or just wrote something that's, you know, ties the room together the best versus somebody who wrote a grammatically perfect 500 word, essentially essay, to a regular user. Maybe from your perspective, you would have the better article, but from the crawler's perspective, it's not the case. So sometimes it helps to just remember we're gaming a system that is a robot classifying everything based on human ingenuity, but there's only so much you can do as far as, creating a sentient robot, which they don't have quite yet.
How much do you think things like grammatical mistakes in an article really matter as far as
I
affecting rankings?
I don't know, honestly, because I would think over, like, hypothetical, you've got two equivalently written essays from a crawler's perspective, right? It's got the right words,
And the
etc.
equivalent
Then there
quality of
probably
backlinks as
is,
well, and number of
yeah, yeah,
backlinks.
yeah. Yeah, just even all together, but one's got grammatical mistakes. I'm willing to bet that Google, is going to pick the right winner there.
Yeah. If
So
everything
of
else
course
was
you'd always
equal.
want to go. Yeah, if everything else was equal. Now, mind you, that's not to say that just because you've written something perfect doesn't mean that there's, not going to be issues on something that does rank higher than your asset. So yeah, I mean, better article is subjective to who's reading it or what's reading it, right? And in this case, we're talking about a robot that thinks in
Yeah,
percentages.
as far as like this question specifically about like grammatical errors go, that's not, you see top ranking sites all the time that have like, grammatical errors all over the place. They might not, might get like a B if they were in an elementary school, English class or
But
whatever, but the thing is that people can still learn a lot from the article and they can still really like it. And
mhm,
so,
yeah,
if your site also has, you've got some good backlinks to the site, other websites are saying, hey, this is a good source of information. And, your content is, Google looks at all the other content that is also preferred by people that saying, oh, this is all good content and your content is kind of covering things in a similar way to they are. I just don't think I don't think it's really important at all. Of course, you don't want it. If you could fix it, it's always better than not fixing it. Um,
yeah. But
but
then on this, oh, sorry, go
no, I was
ahead.
just gonna say, but as far as this site's ranking above you, and you say, well, they have grammatical errors. How are they ranking above me? That's not how this works. Like that,
Right.
there's so much more important stuff to that. Namely, matching search intent, your cover the topic fully, your content is optimized correctly, your on-page SEO, and other websites, other people are giving you backlinks saying this information is a good source, or this is a good article, this is a good website. It's so much
Yeah.
more important than grammatical mistakes. I just think it's really, really, really far down the list.
And consider that, not all humans that speak the same language speak in the same format or write in the same format. I mean, slang is a big thing, even just within, United States or different parts of the UK or wherever. People use different slang. They use different terminology. They write things different ways. And so all of this, when looking from a crawler's perspective, has to be engineered to have a certain level of acceptance and variance within, what you think is grammatically correct or written correctly. And that's its own thing as well. So, even conceptualizing that, there's going to be a lot of room for variance, for lack of a better word, than just error.
Yeah. And I'll just end with, as far as the first part of the question, can Google really read content and decide, oh yeah, this one's better? Um, I don't think they can really do it necessarily like that. Like they can't say it's better. Like they look for other people's opinions to say which one of these is better. Like they can say like, are you matching like the searcher's intent? Are you
Mm-hmm.
covering it fully? So like, a bunch of other people said that these 5 articles are really good. Is your article anywhere close to that? Like, are you covering the same topics? Are you talking about the same things at all? And so they would say, okay, well, like now you're in the running because you basically met these like minimum standards, right? But as far as saying like which
Mm-hmm.
one of these is better, I think they really look, once you've met the standards and met search intent, cover topic fully, then they're looking for other people to tell them which one of these is better, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's primarily done through backlinks. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the description below for links to our blog for more info on this topic, along with a bunch of other cool stuff like case studies, our Facebook community, and our link building services. And like always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed the video. Thanks and happy ranking.